When the both persons in question are met in somewhat awkward, sometimes dangerous situations, the duo is set to get close to each other in a very doki-doki manner. We're talking about insane stuttering and ridiculous amounts of blushing that otherwise should be diagnosed as a case for idiopathic craniofacial arrhythmia. That's a real thing. No, really, it is. The Fragrant Flower Blooms with Dignity, a Romeo and Juliet romance involving a class difference between two high schools. One is an all-girls private school, the other is an all-boys public school. Did I also mention they have a never-ending rivalry going on? Chidori Public High School and Kikyo Private Academy Girls High School are neighboring high schools with evident no interaction policy among the lot. Girls from Kikyo High School are too prim and proper to give their delinquents next door time of their day, and boys from Chidori High can't care less about their infamous reputation. We are introduced to some Chidori High-going individuals: Saku Natsusawa, Shohei Usami, and Ayato Yorita, all bearing different personalities, or should I say, the same recycled pattern we see in the supporting cast. One's an emo, the other is loud, and one is a worrywart. Sounds similar? Of course, it's a pattern that has been followed since ages. All three of these supposedly supporting characters are purposefully bumped into by two boys in the opening sequence and are harassed to bring Rintaro as he helped out their friend and are in debt to him. On moment's cue, a giant blondie arrives. However, he scares them away by his glare, which we come to know wasn't intentional. Meet Rintaro Sumugi, blonde, typical Sanpaku eyes, and supposed to be scary-looking dude. Rintaro is unapologetically intimidating, which of course carries a trauma, but we'll get into that later, making him a statement amongst other Chidori High lot. Did I mention he's 6'2"? Might as well make him have blue eyes and work him in finance. But our dear protagonist doesn't have a trust fund. What he does have is a family-owned bakery pâtissier plain, which he keeps a secret from his high school buddies for some reason. Back to scene. Turns out the reason that bullying duo was asking for Rintaro because he once wanted to help out a guy who got dumped right outside his apartment late at night. But of course, the heartbroken guy dashes away in fear, seeing Rintaro in the dark. That's like watching Final Destination with real-life effects. On the walk back to the campus, the four boys bump into two girls from Kikyo High. One of the girls had accidentally dropped her handkerchief, and when Shohei picked it up to return the piece of cloth, he's met with distaste and unwelcoming response. He's asked to throw the handkerchief away, as she'll never be able to use it now that he has touched it. Yikes! When worse comes to worse, all she can say is no, right? After school, Rintaro is urged back to the family's bakery to help out. He's late to arrive as the high school is far from his residence, and it's a rainy day. Hence, Kyoko Sumugi, Rintaro's mother, expects low traffic of customers, which Rintaro can easily handle. When Rintaro enters the counter, he notices a tiny girl eating 3 people's serving cake, which leaves him shocked. Upon his arrival, the girl is embarrassed and dashes out of the bakery. He feels sad for scaring off the middle schooler away. Or he thinks she's a middle schooler. Later, he discusses the incident with his mother, to which she realizes the girl in question is Waguri, a regular. Rintaro worries his mother just lost a frequent customer, all thanks to his intimidating presence. However, Kyoko assures her son that's not the case. Her regular isn't like that. The next day, Waguri is still on Rintaro's mind when he enters the bakery and is surprised to see the same girl waiting for him, wanting to treat him to a cake from his own family's bakery, which leaves the boy flabbergasted. Turns out it's an apology cake for running away, as she was embarrassed about Rintaro finding out the secret of her eating a lot of cake, which makes the boy confused, as he thought she ran away because she was scared of him. He offers her the cake, as she seemed more into the cake than him. She then introduces herself as Waguri Kaoruko, which means Rintaro does the same. She sheds some light upon the fact that she has seen the boy working in the bakery often, and she isn't scared of him. Heck, she's blushing and seems nervous talking to him. 10 points, she's already in love with him. But hey, let's not jump to episode 12 by ourselves. Let the animators do their job. Our guy is taken aback as he has never seen anyone seen him for himself. Without that scares and the intimidation, to offer gratitude, Rintaro asks to drop her to the train station as it is dark outside, but is denied politely. Kaoruko buys another cake to go and is on her way. Later at night, Kyoko hurries to Rintaro's room with a takeout box she found on the street trampled. That clearly belonged to the girl, and worries if she went home safely. Rintaro dashes out in the neighborhood. As lucky as the plot armor gets, our main character is right on time to find the same two boys who were harassing his friends in the opening sequence. We're onto Kaoruko, cornering her in an abandoned alley. Upon overhearing what was happening, the boys expressed wanting to use Kaoruko to threaten Rintaro. They kept telling her all the sick rumors they heard about him, but being the brave female character our Kaoruko is, and might I add, main character, she gave them a shut-up call about not trusting rumors, and asked if they ever actually held a conversation with the guy, and how kind Rintaro actually is. Kudos to the tiny person for standing up to the bullies in this situation rather than being scared for her life. But hey, she knows if nobody got her, the shoujo gods got her. Hearing all this, let's just say it's our boy's turn to feel all mushy. Hearing Kaoruko's response, the duo is agitated. Lost for words to speak, one of the bullies tries to throw her a punch. Yes, a punch! We can always count on the good old reliable delinquent wingmen to create some light, short-lived drama for the fast-paced doki-doki action. Right on cue, our knight in shining armor is there in time to protect her. Rintaro's back meets the punch, and his head meets the shutter of the closed shop behind Kaoruko. But he holds her by the shoulder, so she's not hit with the impact. The moment Rintaro turns back to the bullies, they run off petrified. Kaoruko is worried about the wound on his head, but he assures her it's nothing. But we'll get to the cute running her handkerchief on his wound moment. Considering Rintaro is 6'2" and Kaoruko is 4'10", he had to bow to her for the wound clean. The mangaka could have held back on the height difference. Sheesh. Being the gentleman that he is, Rintaro walks her to the station, and our down-bad female main character can only think of the shoulder grab and blush, obviously. Once he's leaving, Kaoruko promises to come back to the bakery again and hopes to eat cake with Rintaro once more. That leaves our main character flabbergasted once again as to why is she not scared of him. That and the smile our female main character gave him, that was also a big question mark to our dear boy. How to get free cake? Get married to the patissier family. Kaoruko probably. This incident keeps him up at night, resulting in Rintaro's early arrival in school. Still in dilemma and melancholy, he remembers his past school life. When he was in middle school, his batchmates were scared of his intimidating stares. Furthermore, expressed that his family owning a bakery does not suit him at all. Not very kawaii of him, now is it? That's probably why he never told his high school friends about the bakery, and to avoid freeloaders, realistically speaking, but that wasn't mangaka's concern, probably. Aimlessly staring at the windows with the forever drawn curtains of Kikyo High, he notices a movement. To his surprise, the curtains are removed, and he is welcomed with a shocked Kaoruko on the opposite side of the window. Rintaro, who is more shocked than ever to see the girl living rent-free in his mind since the last few days, staring back at him from the rival grounds. On impulse, he draws the curtains of Shidori High faster than ever. This makes everything more complicated. The second episode starts with a very valid breakdown of our main character regarding class differences. Worrying Kaoruko might never show her face to Patissier Plain because of his Chidori high blood. Just to hit the nail right on the head, Shohei Osami enters the classroom along with Saku Natsusawa and Ayato Yorita, complaining about the glares he has received all day from Kikyo High's students, and he can't take it anymore. Jeez, man, read the room. Your boy's about to unalive himself. Quite the observant one, Saku notices Rintaro's rather odd behavior, with his head ducking down and all. Rintaro was lost in thought, or should I say lost in agony. He interrogates his form, prying on his forehead injury. The one he got while playing knight in the shining armor for Kaoruko? Yep, that's the one. The I fell and hit my head story was not the one sold to Mr. Sherlock right there, but he let it go. Shohei urges the boys to hit the karaoke, checking to see if his mother doesn't need his aid back at Patissier Plain. Rintaro actually says yes to a hangout this time. Delighted by the boys' rare affirmation, the lot heads out of the campus in anticipation. But all anticipation died down when there's a crowd of Chidori High's students right outside the gate. Curious, steps towards the entryway really kill our Rintaro cat. Or should I say a punch to his gut? Because what do you mean Kaoruko is standing right outside the school gate of Chidori High? She can't possibly be here to meet him, right? That's not how a romance anime goes. He's the one who's supposed to make such a brazen move to meet her. Somebody go check the script before the poor boy dies out from a heart disease. Just as the inner monologue of Rintaro is occurring, the faint of heart convincing it's not him the girl is out here to meet. Shohei steps in front of Kaoruko. Oh boy, this is not going to end well. Considering Shohei's complaints about being sick of the neighboring girls' school, he's fully convinced to scare off Kaoruko. Thank the Lord, Rintaro gains consciousness right in time to intervene in this delinquent bullying the lady panning out. Seriously, did they not learn a thing from this ongoing feud between the two schools? But Shohei back off not to intimidate Kaoruko anymore. Before any of the main leads are allowed to say anything, we got Shohei crying out of jealousy because your boy is single and lonely. Damn, we get it. Move on. Then we got the classic interruption before the female lead can spurt out the nonsense that, yes, I'm here to meet you, you dumbass. Who else? So Rintaro can stop with his rather draining monologue. Two girls supposedly acquainted with Kaoruko intervene and drag her away. The crying Shohei is yet again met with distasteful glares, which was honestly deserved after what he did to Kaoruko. On the other hand, we have Rintaro trying to suppress his grin, thinking, what if she was actually there to meet him? My guy, she was! Safe to say, seeing the look of raw joy on Rintaro's face was too good. Cue to the karaoke the boys initially planned on going, we got our main character once again lost in thought, much to his dilemma. Noticing it once again, Saku straight up asks if something happened. Rintaro's internal monologue is now shifted towards whether to tell the boys about his complicated relationship with Kaoruko, but in fear of being judged, he's yet again forced to let his buddies in the dark. Seriously, dude, give them some credit and rant about your girl problems. It's late when Rintaro comes home, surprised to see lights still on for the bakery. He enters. He's met with Kaoruko welcoming him home. Lucky bastard. It's only episode 2 and he's already hearing welcome home from her. Now we're far beyond the word shocked because he's speechless. Kyoko Sumugi, Rintaro's mother, chimes in, fretting over the boy's late arrival and how he made poor Kaoruko wait. She offers the girl some cake, to which she politely declines, but her tummy growls, having a mind of its own. This causes Kyoko to laugh, and Rintaro is struggling to stifle his. Embarrassed to say the least, she accepts the dessert. I'm gonna die from diabetes here. He's met with an apology from Kaoruko, yet again worrying that she did not think over the rivalry of the neighboring schools, and that she should not act so recklessly. Without thinking, Rintaro spills. He was delighted to see her there, but amidst his embarrassment, he tries to take his words back. Kaoruko, on the other hand, is on cloud 9 to hear that, and asks him not to. But we have Rintaro asking her the stupidest question, like, why would she like to associate herself with the likes of him, a Chidori High student? There will be nothing good coming out of it. Blah, blah, blah. Wow, way to go, man. What a shot to blow any chance you had with her. And there were a lot of chances, dumbass. Kaoruko is taken aback, rightfully so. I would have punched him. In a low voice, the girl voices that she was happy knowing the blonde was in the neighboring school. With that, she abruptly leaves. The poor girl's expressions are so glum when she's leaving. She didn't even finish the cake she loves so much. Saddened by his own actions, Rintaro tries to find aid in his mother. Upon hearing the chain of incidents that happened to her kid and his reaction to all this, she scolds Rintaro for doing the same thing to Kaoruko that has been done to him all his life, forcing perceptions without knowing the reality. Mother Dearest asks him not to see her as only a Kikyo High's student, but as an individual who had multiple encounters with the boy, entangling them to a deeper extent. Rightfully so, she questions her upbringing of her offspring, considering how dense he is. Even his mom is disgusted by how slow he is. Dumbass. But Mama did not birth any dense protagonists in this show. Finally, the message got through that thick skull of his. Rintaro realized his mistake and punched himself for what an idiot he had been. I mean, why is he so blind? She sees him in the window and knows he's at the neighboring school. Heck, she waits outside the said school for him. Yet somehow, he can't wrap his head around the fact that she doesn't care about his school. Insane. To make things right, he's standing right outside Kikyo High's gate the next day. This time, it's Kaoruko's turn to be shocked and apologized to. Rintaro voices his remorse, struggling with embarrassment, yet determined to make it clear how he is sorry not to see Kaoruko's feelings and her as a person. How he was so happy to see her right outside the gate, waiting for him. Kaoruko smiles and says he's too kind. As a statement to forget which high schools they belong to, Kaoruko introduces herself again as an individual, and is determined to know more about Rintaro. and we get a jump of joy. I swear to God, she's a freaking massive ball of sunshine. Still in a daze, however, texting. They got each other's numbers. Let's go! Rintaro enters the classroom and moves towards the window facing Kikyo High. We have our female lead removing the curtain and smiling at our boy. Complex emotions go through Rintaro, and he realizes how close he is to the world he never thought he'd be a part of. Cue the ending, because any more of that, we would have seen Rintaro on the ground from all the Doki Doki feels. Starting the episode, we had Rintaro and Shohei cursing the hot weather this year as the boys were expected to fail this year's midterm exams. That's the end of the world for these testosterone-driven boys. The homeroom teacher's request: pass the midterm exam and gain the access to the sports festival. They got promised an ice cream by him. If they win the whole thing. Our boy got the worst grade ever in the worst public school in town. How admirable. Perfect representation of an Asian. Am I right? Now that the goals are set, the duo, or just Shohei, really begs Saku to teach them, which is met with instant rejection. Saku interjects how he went through hell last year to teach them both, yet they still failed. Damn, what an airhead. While this was panning out, Rintaro receives a text from his mom asking to let Kaoruko. Shohei drags Rintaro to a public library after school. Also because the air conditioning in the school library is under maintenance. Mostly because of that. A few minutes into the study session, both airheads are needing Saku's help. Accepting defeat, Shohei decides to leave the library and bring Saku and Yorita back to the library for help. He's set to apologize how he felt bad failing last year, even though the boy helped him out. But man, I can't with how dumb our MC can get. Cherry on top, he hears Kaoruko's friend mentioning how she works harder than anyone to get top grades in the academy. Here we go. That was the KO we needed. He exits the library and sits on a bench outside contemplating life. The fact that he got lowest grades even at a public school like Shitori High, while our Kaoruko is topping a private academy like Kikyo High. Yep, he was going through it. What is a better way of going through it laying on a bench of the library where your crush is studying to ace the exam while you're out here taking a give-up nap? Rintaro closes his eyes while laying on the bench. Kaoruko tells him she saw him leaving. The boy then tells her how he's unable to study. Kaoruko apologizes for not visiting the patissiere plane, to which the boy assures they hold the discount every month, to which Kaoruko promises to visit next month. The girl has been busy with studying too. Being a scholarship student, she has to keep her score high. See? She's not a rich brat, you asshole. That's what you get for assuming things. She's just an ordinary girl with ordinary parents and high dreams to achieve. My girl does a part-time job to pay her school bills, and she calls it her pride. How admirable. Rintaro realizes how much of a jackass he was, assuming things for Kaoruko when he doesn't even know her that well yet. To which Rintaro asks if she's free to teach him. Score, and that's how you get a first date dressed as a study session. Maybe he's not so bad after all. Of course, as we're getting to the good part, we are disturbed by a girl dressed in Kikyo High's uniform. You just know, man, you're not Shigaraki Tomura right now. Chill. Rintaro then proceeds to lie and tell the lot he was the one approaching Kaoruko to talk, saying he wanted to apologize for scaring Kaoruko on the school gate the other day, which was actually Shohei who did that. Right on cue, going back to the library, Kaoruko asks Subaru not to act in such a distasteful manner, even though the silver girl got trouble interacting with men, to which she responds how men are trash, which we all nod in favor of. Subaru investigates who Rintaro was, to which our lovesick girl responds, a very kind man. Back home, we get Rintaro studying. Rather than in a formal tone, I die too. Rintaro then builds up courage to ask the girl to drop the formal speech with him, to which we get an affirmation for. During the whole fiasco, we got nervous MCs with blushing cheeks and stuttering voices. The whole scene is honestly so sickeningly sweet, I wanted to barf affectionately. Rintaro wanted to know what kind of expression Kaoruko made when he asked her to do that. We have an overprotective best friend core too, as a plot point for this anime. See y'all next week!